morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Conversations with Dr. Johnson.
Thank you.
Dr. Johnson is here feeling robust today. So this is the day when you go back to the desert.
Yes, it is.
Thursdays.
Yes. Look forward to driving through Orange County rush hour traffic. It's always a pleasure.
It is. It is. We call it the Great OC.
The great OC.
Driving to the desert.
Yeah.
I love the drive. It's 2 hours of crazy traffic, right? And lots of road constructions and things.
Yes.
But yeah, today we want to talk about sleep. And I'm interested in the topic not just because of its implications to the immune system, but the fact that I just got my TMJ treatment begun.
Excellent.
Right.
Glad to hear it.
So last night, I have two sets of guards. I'm wearing the day guard, which is the lower one.
Yes, so if his voice and pronunciation sound slightly different, that's why.
Yes, I'm wearing some guards. But I thought I'd normally sound beautifully, exotically English.
Who could argue with that?
Exactly. Thank you, Dr. Johnson. So I have the day guard, which I have to eat with. Then I have the night guard. So I used my night guard last night. And it's kind of restrictive, but I had a beautiful night's sleep.
Well, good.
I woke up feeling really, wow. I guess this is why I needed it. But
Now, were you tested for sleep apnea?
he didn't test me for it directly, but I
Okay.
know I have it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so, and I snore a lot.
Yeah.
And I know that I wake up a lot
Yeah.
because of that. I've
Yeah.
been tracking some of that.
Yeah.
But last night, I didn't track. I'm going to track tonight. But last night, though, I didn't wake up quite as often as I normally do.
Yeah. Well, that night guard holds your lower jaw forward
Yes,
so that your airway stays open.
open.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm getting more oxygen into the brain.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you have sleep apnea and you're not getting enough oxygen, there can be this whole chain reaction of events. It tends to cause people to gain weight. It tends to cause people to develop high blood pressure. It increases the risk of diabetes. So there's this whole long list of problems.
Alzheimer's and
Yes.
all of that.
Yes.
Because it's very interesting, right? Because during the day, my oxygen levels, I've measured it with the oximeter.
Yes.
It's around 98%.
Good.
But the oxygen levels at night, when you have that blockage, could fall very low.
Could fall dramatically lower.
And
yes.
that low oxygen level for those 8 hours you're sleeping has significant impacts, as you were just saying, to your health.
Well, sure. Sleep is very important for the rest, repair, and rejuvenation that our body needs.
Yeah.
If we don't get adequate sleep or good quality sleep, our immune system doesn't have the chance to stay as strong as it should.
Exactly. So that's why when I was diagnosed with TMJ, I've gone through with the treatment, and that's what I have been given. It's a very expensive treatment, and insurance doesn't cover it.
Right.
It's costing me about $6,000 to get both the upper and lower mouth guards in place, which I'll be wearing for about minimum 2 to 3 months.
Yeah. You never know ahead of time how long it's going to take to get your jaw joint back to normal.
Yes.
And it can be longer in some cases.
Yes, and that's why they insist that I use it to eat.
Yeah.
Because the more I use it, the more it's going to bring my jaw back into range.
Alignment, yes.
Yeah, into alignment. Thank
Yes,
you
yes.
for into alignment.
Yeah.
So TMJ is an issue of.
Well, it's an issue with the jaw joint, the temporomandibular joint, okay? And it affects some important cranial nerves. We've talked about this in detail previously.
Yeah.
It affects some important cranial nerves that have to do with all sorts of different aspects of your health.
Yeah, so releasing that strain on those set of nerves is very, very important. So that's one aspect of sleep I wanted to explore. People who snore, people who don't have consistent sleep, who don't have the depth of sleep. As you said, almost everybody has TMJ.
Well, I don't think I said almost everybody, but I
Yes.
did say it's very common. It's
Yes.
When I first learned about this a number of years ago, and then I started checking my patients for it,
Yeah.
I was shocked at how many. I mean, it's well over 50%. It may be, I think in my practice, it's somewhere close to 80%.
Right. That's what I meant. 80% is a really high number.
Yeah.
And I did not have a lot of the other signs like headaches,
Right.
like pain,
Right.
like things. The only thing that I think I know is the snoring and sleep apnea, but also the how wide I could open my mouth.
Yes.
Because these 4 fingers
Yeah.
are supposed to go into your mouth when you open it wide.
Yeah, good
And
luck
I
with
could,
that.
I could go only with 3 fingers.
Yeah.
Really interesting that my mouth couldn't like really open and consume all the food I'm supposed to be getting.
You'd have trouble taking down that zebra, wouldn't you?
Exactly. Exactly. Eating it live, right? Exactly. So, okay, let's talk about other aspects of sleep. So you explored the issue of sleep being for repair and regeneration. So talk to us. I know we've had some other sessions on that. So first of all, why do we sleep?
Because that's how we were created, that sleep is a critically important component of good health.
Yes.
They've done studies where they've, I think if I recall correctly, these studies were done on soldiers.
Yes.
And they found that if they force those soldiers to go without any sleep for approximately 3 days, most of them literally go insane.
Wow.
They lose touch with reality.
3 days without sleep.
And once you let them sleep again, they resume their normal mental functions. But sleep is critically important.
Okay. Not too much sleep, just enough sleep.
Well, sure. Like everything else in life, we want just enough food, not too much, not too little. We want just enough water, not too much, not too little. We want just enough sleep, not too much, not too little.
So, why do we sleep less as we age? You would think that we would sleep more as we age.
Well, you would think that, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Because we need more
Repair
rejuvenation
exactly.
and repair.
Yes.
Kids produce huge amounts of melatonin, which is considered the sleep hormone. Having said that, it's also a very powerful immune strengthening hormone. It's a very powerful anti-cancer hormone, anti-aging hormone. So kids produce huge amounts of melatonin. That starts to drop significantly around age 20, and then around age 30 is when it really starts to drop off. So as we age, we're producing less and less and less melatonin, less of the sleep hormone, therefore we sleep less.
Okay. And therefore, we are at risk of those things that melatonin is responsible for during sleep.
Yes.
Because that's when melatonin comes place, right?
Yes.
If we look at the hormonal 24-hour cycle, it comes in the evening and
Yes.
then tapers back in the morning.
Yes. Melatonin is mostly produced in our body through the absence of light stimulation.
Okay.
Now, the blue light, ultraviolet,
Yeah.
is very, very powerful at suppressing melatonin. Okay?
Yeah.
So in the evening, you're watching a TV screen, you're
Yeah.
looking at your smartphone, there's lots of blue light there,
Yeah.
and that's the reason we recommend that you stop exposing yourself to those things in the evening.
Yes.
Now, my phone has a blue light filter on it,
Okay.
and I always leave that blue light filter on. I don't consciously see any difference in the way the screen looks,
Yeah.
but I'm getting less exposure to that blue light, which suppresses melatonin. And then on top of that, of course, I take melatonin
Yes.
every night.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's just explore that. So when should you start taking melatonin? Because most people would say that I am a night person, or I'm a day person, or a morning person, or a night person.
Right.
So what are the signals that would then allow us to start doing something about our sleep?
Well, anybody past the age of 30, if they're having any sleep issues,
Yeah.
it would make sense for them to start taking melatonin.
Okay.
Now understand there's over-the-counter grade melatonin, there's prescription grade melatonin.
Yeah.
Over-the-counter grade doesn't work very well for most people.
Okay.
The prescription grade is not particularly expensive. It's a few dollars more than the over-the-counter grade, but it's
Yeah.
definitely worth paying that little bit of extra to get the good stuff.
Yeah, it's almost like the vitamin D or the fish oil or all of that,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes.
So let's just look at, so when we say repair and regeneration, what's actually happening during sleep, right? We're repairing and we know what the consequences of not sleeping are. So let's look at what sleep is actually doing and what people are missing when they don't really sleep well.
Okay. Well, I don't believe we understand sleep completely. In fact, I don't think there's any aspect of human physiology that we understand completely. As smart as we like to think we are, we're always learning new stuff, and there's always gaps in our knowledge. So when you go to bed and go to sleep, that is when your body produces most of its testosterone.
Yeah.
Okay? And testosterone is a very important component in this repair and rejuvenation.
Yeah.
If you go to the gym and work out and the next day you've got sore muscles, it's because you have literally caused micro trauma to those muscles.
Yes.
And with the aid of testosterone, your body will repair those injuries and actually make those muscles stronger.
Yeah.
That's why people, when they first go to the gym to lift weights, they can't lift very heavy. But a few months down the road, they're lifting much heavier because they've been causing this micro trauma, which is being repaired and making the muscles stronger.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
So sleep is so critical, but also sleep looks like death.
No, not to me, it doesn't.
Well, but when you're asleep, you don't know.
Well, but when you're asleep, you're breathing. Dead people don't breathe.
Ah, but how do you know you're breathing when you're asleep?
Well, because I wake up the next morning.
Well, you see, the evidence is not right there.
But
it's later on. If you didn't wake up, then we would know you were not sleeping.
That's right. If I didn't wake up, then you'd know I was dead.
No, I was looking at this relationship between sleep and death, and it's a very close relationship. Perhaps sleep was created to ease our transition out of here. Because that's what they say. If you live a long life, then you die peacefully in your sleep.
So you're going out on quite the limb of speculation here.
Yes.
And it looks to me like you've crawled out to the tiniest little twig and are in danger of falling off.
I know, very dangerous
Yes.
intellectual space to be in. So we have Una here today. So Una, join us, our brand ambassador. We want to investigate how well Una sleeps and whether she snores. I know for a woman, that's like a taboo subject. And we can only get evidence of snoring on the person you sleep with.
Pretty much. Now, occasionally there are people whose snoring wakes them up.
Oh, yeah.
And they hear that as they're waking up. But
Yeah.
most of the time, people are not aware of that.
Let's check, Una.
And-
Are you one of those that your snore wakes you up?
You know, I really don't think that I snore. I
Oh,
think that I sleep
give
like
us-
an angel.
Oh,
From what
please.
I've heard. I don't know. I mean, maybe a
You
little...
sleep like you're dead.
Maybe a little hard breathing, maybe, but that's about it. That's the most you get, like, you know, when you're kind of
Well,
really
perhaps your
tired.
are you taking melatonin when you sleep?
I haven't started taking it, no.
You haven't started?
And your age is?
I'm 28,
28,
but I'm really
okay.
18.
Okay,
it's
so
so hard.
she probably doesn't need
Needed.
melatonin yet.
Yes.
Okay, at what age do you feel like people start?
Well, it's usually around age 30, might be 35 for some people. Basically, if anybody is having any difficulty sleeping, trouble falling asleep, staying asleep, or going back to sleep, then that would be the time to seriously consider melatonin supplementation.
Got it. And also, I just got a question online for you guys. It was, what about people, I'm not those people, but there are some people that sleep 4 to 5 hours and they feel like they're genuinely 100% great. They feel great. The question was, are they great, or like what if they just don't want to sleep anymore?
Okay.
Is that healthy to live
So,
like that?
so that is very rare. but apparently it can happen in rare cases. Most people do best with at least 7.5 hours of sleep. Some people do better with 9, but there are these very rare people. Don't run into them very often, but
yeah, there are very few.
people.
And I don't really think that sleeping for just 4 hours a night gives the body enough time to repair and regenerate. That's the objective of sleep. So
Well,
you need to also be careful
Yeah,
about that.
we have these various stages of sleep. The
yes.
deepest sleep is
Yes.
the most refreshing
Perfect.
and rejuvenating.
Yeah.
And part of the problem with a lot of people is they don't spend enough time
In
at the
that.
deeper stages. Now, if these people sleeping 4 or 5 hours are spending most of that time at the deep levels, then they
It's
may be
refreshing,
getting
the
enough
benefit.
rejuvenation and
Yeah,
repair.
because there are almost 3 or 4 stages of sleep, and it depends where stage. And if you use a sleep monitor, it will give you enough of that data, and exactly would go back to the point we're making. But the issue also is that if you're not sleeping enough, then it shows up in the afternoon, whether you're drowsy. And when there are issues like that, right? The drowsiness,
Yeah, I've
or
noticed
whether
that,
you
yeah.
need coffee to wake you up, right?
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
so you say you don't need it.
Coffee?
You need coffee to wake up.
I'm a huge coffee drinker, but it's been literally over 10 years now, which is a long time since I was like a kid. So sometimes I don't know if it's just a habit or if it's like I do feel like I'm like a
Let me
little more
check,
sluggish.
Dr. Johnson. Do you
Yes.
drink coffee when you wake up in the morning?
I typically do, not always, but typically.
Oh, so you don't really need it.
You know, I'm a little more alert when I drink it.
Okay.
But I don't need it per se.
Okay, because I haven't drank coffee in 40 years.
Not one sip.
No, I don't drink coffee.
Wow.
Yeah, I drink tea, but I don't need it when I wake up.
Yeah.
I don't need anything when I wake up, only water.
You don't drink tea for caffeine. You just drink it because you like it.
I like tea, yes.
Got it.
And I normally drink teas in the afternoon, which is how we drink in our culture. We drink teas in the afternoon. And that's what you serve guests. You serve guests hot tea.
Tea and crumpets?
No, that's in England. Tea and crumpets, yeah. So I don't drink coffee. So
Yeah.
and I don't understand why people drink coffee.
Yeah.
Right. So but
Because it tastes delicious.
That too.
no, well, I don't find it delicious.
Okay.
And there's nothing sweet in it. I thought sweet was the only thing that was delicious in life.
Oh, so yeah, I make it sweet, which we had a conversation about. You said is not the best.
No,
the,
it's
the
not.
kind of creamer I put in, it's just so good.
No,
It
it's
just
not.
makes me so
There's
happy.
too much sugar.
Yeah.
Because if we measure your sugar tolerance test,
Well, and usually the bigger problem is people are using these non-dairy creamers,
oh,
and those have horrible, unhealthy fats in them.
okay.
It's kind of like injecting caulking into your arteries.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So
You
it's
see that?
not good.
So stop
Not
it.
good to know.
Organic cream is fine, but the non-dairy coffee creamers are bad news.
Yeah, what about the one that, the fat that Dave Asprey talks about?
Okay, the bulletproof coffee.
And the fat.
So to make bulletproof coffee, you use this coffee that's free of mold toxins.
Yeah, talk about that mold issue, because all these coffee drinkers are not aware that most of the coffee they consume has mold.
Okay, so mold toxins are toxic to our mitochondria, the power plants of our cells.
Yeah.
Okay, and of course we want our mitochondria to be in the best possible condition.
Yeah.
So when we consume mold toxins,
Yeah.
which almost all coffee has,
Yeah.
then we are suppressing our mitochondria.
Yeah.
The other places we tend to get mold toxins are from things like peanut butter.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there are other
And dried fruits and things like that that are not properly
Yeah.
dried.
Yes.
From fresh to dry.
Yeah.
That's when the mold actually comes in there.
Yeah, and then the other things that tend to be very toxic to mitochondria
Yeah.
are gluten.
Yeah.
Even if you're not allergic to gluten, gluten is toxic to mitochondria.
Yeah.
All antibiotics are toxic to mitochondria to some degree.
Yeah.
And casein, which is the major protein in milk,
Yeah.
is also toxic to mitochondria.
Wow. So you see
Wow.
all of that. That's really very interesting. That Yeah, go ahead.
So to get back to the bulletproof coffee,
Yes.
you have the mold-free coffee,
Yes.
and you add organic grass-fed butter,
Okay.
which is really health food.
Yeah.
Organic grass-fed butter.
That's
We've all
your
been
omega-3s and everything
Well,
about in between triglycerides.
and healthy saturated fats.
Yes.
Okay.
All of it in there.
Yeah, and then you add something called brain octane oil.
All right.
Now, this is a fat that, most fats can be burned for fuel,
Yes.
and they can be used to incorporate into the cellular structure of your body.
Yeah.
The brain octane oil is almost 100% exclusively used as fuel for your brain. That's why it's called brain octane oil.
And then, do we have that?
You do.
We do downstairs?
Yes.
So that's what you should be putting in your coffee.
Yes.
The fat and the octane.
Yes. And then you have to use one of these, it's called an immersion blender. You stick it in the cup and you
Grind the coffee?
No. This is after the coffee has been made,
Yeah.
and you're now mixing or dispersing or emulsifying the healthy fat into that coffee.
Oh, wow. Wow.
If you
do
just
you do that
Yes.
every time you drink coffee?
Well,
now?
at home I do.
Yeah.
It's not possible when I'm on the road like I
Okay.
am now, but yeah.
Yeah, so this is for coffee drinkers, right? Because
Yes.
we have in stock those three things. We have the
Mold-free coffee.
the mold-free
Bulletproof.
bulletproof coffee.
Yeah.
We have the fats.
We have the brain octane oil.
And
And then the people have to supply their own organic grass-fed butter.
butter
Yeah.
in the coffee, which is what creates the cream.
Yeah, is there sweetness to that, or
There's
just
no
cream.
sweetness to that, but there's a
Creaminess.
there's a delicious creaminess to it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you want to add allulose, which is a very healthy
Sugar.
sweetener,
Yeah.
you can certainly do
And
that
we
if
have
you want some
allulose.
sweet.
We carry allulose also
That's
downstairs.
Yes.
Very interesting. Okay, so we went to sleep, but we explored coffee, which is the antidote for people who are not sleeping well. In my view, if you
Yeah.
sleep well, you don't need coffee. But for some of you are addicts, or you just love the taste of it.
Yes.
So if you do that, you will come and visit our shop, and you will find the bullet-free coffee and the octane and all the things we were talking about.
Bulletproof.
Bulletproof coffee.
Yeah, the idea is you want to be so healthy that no matter what you're
So you're
exposed to,
bulletproof.
what you're exposed to, your body can take care of it. You're bulletproof.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought I was naturally built bulletproof.
you
I
might
don't
be?
know. We're going to see if you can take a punch one of these days.
All right. So what are your thoughts on what you've heard about coffee? Are you going to give up the bullshit creamers you've been using?
I'm gonna give it a try. Now, totally give it up is a really big commitment, but I would love to know that I'm not putting mold in my body.
Yes.
So that's
Well, the
enough
coffee-
motivation
yeah,
to
exactly.
try it, because I mean that sounds
Your
really
non-dairy
bad.
creamer is what? Hazelnut flavored?
100%.
Okay, so you
Hazelnut.
can go to the grocery store and you can get sugar-free hazelnut syrup,
Okay.
and you can use a little bit of that and a little bit of allulose to taste.
Yeah.
Use more or less
Okay,
as your taste buds
So you
dictate.
could get close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try that.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
the same caffeine intake, so
Yeah.
might as well.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining. We love you. Like us, send questions and ideas for our talks next week. I will be joining you on Saturday for the NAMA workshop. Thank you, Dr. Johnson.
My pleasure.
For
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends
Yes.
that the famous Dr. Johnson is on every week. And Una, thank you
Thanks for
for
having
the delight and for that interesting conversation about coffee and creamers.
Good to know. I learned a lot.
Which is a good thing for people who
Absolutely.
sleep well and for those who don't. Thank you for joining us. Sleep well and boost your immune system.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.